Making Away with Bargain Queen Sheryl Renee on KUHS Radio TV Denver.
Oh yes! Oh yes! Happy Wednesday to you, friends. Welcome back to Making Away with Bargain Queen Sheryl Renee. I'm so happy to be here. Oh, already I see I got friends listening in from Mexico and Serbia and Indonesia. Right here in the good old USA. Welcome to the show. KUHSDenver.com.
If you have anxiety, what should you eat and what should you not eat? If you are fighting depression and you don't want to take antidepressants or you want to help that, what are some things like cashews that help you? You know, or eating beets that help you.
They say cashews, just to pinpoint, they say cashews, 2 handfuls of cashews has the same effect against depression as Prozac. Just think about that. 2 handfuls of cashews has the same effect as taking a Prozac pill.
And if you have depression, you just eat beets, eat walnuts as well, even dark chocolate, not milk chocolate, and salmon. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that you can do if you have depression. If you have chronic constipation or you have some kind of autoimmune disease, you know, there are some really important foods that you can be eating. Now, I will say that I have had they moved my organs and I've had some bowel problems, and some of my doctors recommended that I take expensive things like Miralax and Citracel and things like that really didn't work for me. And then I just found if I made a carrot soup, I make a curried carrot soup. I'll tell you what, that works better than Miralax or Citracel. Also, I eat oatmeal every day. If you hate oatmeal, check this out. I add to it cinnamon and coconut, dried coconut, not the wet, sticky, sweet kind, but the natural kind. I add some maple syrup. Oh, man, I make it like dessert. And I put flaxseed in it. I'll tell you what, that is good for depression, and it's good for your bowels. It's good for cleaning out your liver. There are just so many wonderful good things that you should be eating or that you can think about eating that are good for, you know, natural antibiotics or good for your health or good for lowering cholesterol. These are all pinned on our Food Power on a Budget under Bargain Queen and on Pinterest. And I just read, if you don't want to buy cookbooks, you just plug in, okay, I have a bunch of rhubarb. What can I make? It will tell you 25 things you can make with the rhubarb you just acquired. Or you want to eat healthy, but you don't know how to make anything with quinoa that has such high fiber. That's like replacing meat. Or so is lentils. You don't know how to cook lentils. You don't know how to cook quinoa. You go to Pinterest and you type in one of those 2 things. It will tell you 25 things or more that you can make with those very, very healthy foods.
I'm trying to tell people there is a plethora of information. Just for example, I'm looking here, the rosacea healing diet for people who have skin condition called rosacea. Over here, I'm just going to read off some of these things that we posted here on the board because I was just so impressed with all of the healing bodies. Clean eating, 14 steps to cut processed foods. They show you how to cut it because your body's going to go through something, folks, and just know you got to get past it. It's just like if you're fasting, you got to get past that 3-day period, point blank. There are different things, you know, when you're making a change, your body may react. You might break out, but it's the toxins coming out of your body. So we encourage you when we suggest these things, always give yourself time to go through it. Okay, you're going to have to grow through a little something to get to the good side. It's just like you got to crawl. It's like if you ever saw Shawshank and the guy had to crawl through that sewer pipe to get out. Okay, you got to go through some shit. Oh, excuse me, I'm not supposed to say shit. Sorry, Henry. But anyway, you got to go through some stuff to get to the other side. So we've got green. They've got detox smoothies on here. I'm just scrolling down because I had added a bunch of things. I wanted to be specific, but alkaline foods, you know what I mean? The most alkaline foods. You know, they say cancer cannot thrive in an alkaline system. There are foods that you can start. If you have cancer, why wouldn't you change your diet to start eating alkaline foods? If you know that there is enough evidence, and you don't have to take our word for it because we go to the experts. If you know that you can fight your cancer by, oh, man, we're running out of time. Lisa, this is going fast. Golly, that 50 benefits of raw honey. We're going to talk with our expert here in about 2 minutes. Detoxing kale. Oh my gosh, I could just go on and on. I could go on and on. Girl, we just never have enough time, do we?
We never do. But that's why it's all pinned onto your Pinterest board. Really, people, it's such a cool thing. Check this out. Go to Pinterest, open up a free account, and start looking for this wonderful recipes and health guides, and check out the Bargain Queen, because this board, Food Power on a budget, this does not have to be expensive. In fact,
right.
We want it to be inexpensive.
That's our goal. We want everything to be inexpensive and affordable. Just again, I found what I was looking for, the benefits of ginger, zucchini, all of these different things that, you know, that you can take control of. Once, if you're not a cook, make a thing once a week. Start with once a week you're going to cook for yourself. You're going to get in that kitchen and you're going to not eat out at a restaurant. You're going to find something you like, look it up, you're going to make it, and I guarantee you will take control of your diet. But anyway, Lisa, we got to go so that Scott can call us and get in on this. We got to talk about these bees.
All right. Well, it's been fun, and enjoy your talk with Scott.
Well, I want to thank you for referring him. Lisa is the one that made the connection. They are both based in Salida, Colorado, and Lisa is the one that made the connection, so I do thank you so much for that. Scott, if you're listening, we're getting ready to clear the line here in a minute, and you can call in, and I've got some conversation. I gave him the full 15-minute slot because I got lots of questions about what's going on with bees and honey and all of that good stuff. So go to our Pinterest page. Thanks so much, Lisa.
Bye-bye.
All right, my dear. So, hey, you heard it right here. We're going to be right back with Scott Sailors, who is the president of the Central Colorado Beekeepers Association. So, you know, this man knows what he's talking about. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we got an expert coming on, and you're going to want to hear some things. I found out some amazing things in the research. So, hey, we'll be right back. You're listening to KUHSdenver.com, Making a Way with Bargain Queen Sheryl Renee. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah, the bees. Sweetest bee, baby, the honey. Oh, man, people don't know that honey is the only food. You can find a 5,000-year-old jar of honey and it will still be good. It's the only food that never expires. But I'm wondering if that's still true, especially with what all's going on with our air and our soil and our water. But anyway, we've got an expert coming on. He's going to talk to us about that kind of thing. We got Scott Sailor, president of the Central Colorado Beekeepers Association, is joining us on Making a Way. Hi, Scott.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, I was so excited because I called Lisa, and she was on her way to go meet someone, I think, from your organization. I said, that's so perfect for our show. Food is honey is food. We got it. It all works out. And plus, I've been very passionate for the last few years. I've been very passionate posting on Facebook and sharing the stories about the bee die-off that's been happening and whatnot. So anyway, we're so happy to have you on the show, and we've got another 13 minutes here to just talk about all of this good stuff. But why don't you give our listeners a little backstory on yourself, how you got involved with bees, the whole thing?
Yes. I am what I refer to as a bee-centered beekeeper, meaning that the health and welfare of the bees is paramount for me. And things that I might remove from the hive to sell, like honey or pollen, that's at the bottom of my priority list.
Okay.
I'm really committed to a renaissance in holistic and sustainable beekeeping practices, because we need to return honeybees to the vibrancy that they deserve and that the earth needs. And they're in trouble.
Yes, they are.
So that's why I'm involved in beekeeping. It's for the sake of the bees.
Okay.
And I am thoroughly enjoying it. It's fascinating. Bees, of course, I'm biased, but bees are the most beautiful and fascinating creatures on the planet. And once someone's eyes have been truly opened to the world of honeybees, that's it. They're smitten. They're in love. It's over.
Well, I went to your page, and I was chuckling because you really do love your bees, because you were noticing that once they came and got some water, they eliminate. You know what I mean? They release,
yes.
They eliminate so that they can make more room. And I said, that is somebody that is really watching the bees.
That's right. Yes, I do study the bees. It's, I believe that the bees know what's best for the bees.
Right.
And that the bees can teach us. And so if we want to be helping bees do what they're already working so hard to do, mm-hmm. we need to study them and let them teach us.
Okay, well, I got to tell you, I was really kind of shocked. I was doing some research on the honeybees here in America, and what I found was that the bees were imported here. There were no bees here on the continent of America before 1622. Yes,
the bees that we have here now, even that have become wild or feral, are primarily the species Apis mellifera, and they were brought here by Europeans when Europeans began settling North America. That is correct.
Right, because and I also read that the Native Americans used to call them white man flies. So this was something. This was a species. But how in the world were things pollinated before 1622 on this country, or were those plants, those flowers, those different things also introduced here?
Well, I think it's probably a mix of those two things. There are other pollinators. There are other flying insects that pollinate, and some birds aid in pollination as well.
Okay.
In addition, some plants are just wind-pollinated. But honeybees do such a fantastic job of it, and we really need to get them back on the right track. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought that was interesting. But why don't
it is.
Why don't you share with us some points about honey, the benefits of honey? I'm sitting here looking at a thing on our Pinterest board that says 50 benefits of raw honey. That's a lot of benefits. But can you share some of those?
Yes.
And then we'll talk about what's going on with the bees as far as with the die-off and all of that.
Okay, yes. I am not an expert on honey itself. However, like you mentioned, it is a completely natural product. And if we eat it raw, without processing it, without heating it up to pasteurize it, then there are so many health benefits to that, because there are so many micronutrients in raw honey. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing. The list just goes on and on and on and on and on. When honey is processed, when it's heated above about 95 degrees, we kill a lot of those micronutrients that are beneficial to us.
Right.
So it's really helpful to buy store-bought honey, buy local honey and consume local honey And then just be real careful about store-bought honey, what you're actually purchasing and consuming.
And because we also know that a lot of the honey that's on the shelves is actually not honey. It's all what do they call that? I can't think of the name right now, but it's not real honey. So you have to be careful of that as well when you're going to the store.
Yes, a lot of it's been so processed that it has just become sugar. It's no longer honey.
High fructose, that's what I was looking for.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So be clear about that. But let's talk about what is happening. They're talking about the die-off, which to me, it's absolutely clear that it has to do with the spraying that's being done to our ground food, our I want to say the name Monsanto, but there's more than Monsanto. What do you have to say about it? What is your expert opinion on what's happening?
Well, there are a couple of things that I'll mention here. The challenges that honeybees are facing are man-made. We've created these things, and they can be reversed if we act in time. So let me address just a couple of issues. The first is two aspects of agricultural practices. Where farming is comprised of small organic farms with a variety of fruit trees and crops and vegetables and flower gardens, there's a diversity of nectar and pollen-producing blooms throughout the whole growing season. That's a paradise for honeybees. By contrast, monocrop farming, miles and miles of a single crop that blooms for only a short window of time during the growing season, that's a wasteland for bees. Bees cannot live in that kind of environment. They need blooms throughout all the months that it is warm enough for them to fly and forage.
Okay.
So, for example, now in the almond orchards in California, there are no wild bees living there. So, because it's a monocrop, and they only bloom for a couple of weeks, and then there's nothing for the bees to eat after that.
Wow.
So it takes 80% of all the honeybees being managed by commercial migratory beekeepers in the U.S. to pollinate the almond crop. 80% of them.
Wow.
So all those beehives, thousands of beehives, have to be stacked on pallets, strapped onto semi-trucks, and hauled across the country to be set in the almond orchards for the couple of weeks that the almond trees are blooming and need pollination. That's not how bees are meant to live.
Right.
That's highly stressful in many ways that I can't even get into, but bees are meant to live in a region, adapting to a region, and living there locally. And, of course, the second aspect of agricultural practices is what you mentioned. It's the use of systemic pesticides like neonicotinoids. And these pesticides actually become part of the plant, and they are being shown to be devastating to honeybee colonies.
Oh, they become part of the plant.
Yes, they do. So research is just now beginning to be published about the effects of these pesticides on human beings. And it's really scary, in my opinion. I think one of these days, I sincerely hope, we're going to wake up and realize that we have to stop poisoning the earth. It's just that simple.
Right.
So, and then the other aspect is the way that beekeeping has changed in response to these agricultural practices. The migratory beekeeping, like I mentioned, that's very stressful for bees. And then other practices to try to prop up the bees that in the short term seem to help them, like using pesticides inside beehives in order to control pests that were affecting bees. But bees are insects. So if we continue to use insecticides inside beehives, we just produce weaker and weaker bees and more resistant pests over time.
Well, are the numbers as high as some of the stories make it out to be of the die-offs?
Yes, they are. The most recent article I read was the most recent survey over the past year. There was a 44% loss for beekeepers, which is it was about that high in 2012, Then we did a little better in recent years. I believe it was 2012, but it was 44% loss. And now we're seeing losses in the summer as well as the winter. And so things have really got to turn around.
And you know what? And the thing is, people have got to be able to see. What do you think about the corporations, though? What do you think about the companies that know this is happening, yet they still, they're doing the big spray? You know what I mean? I mean...
What can I say? It's driven by money. It's big business. But here's what I would say to that, Sheryl. There are things that we can do as individuals to positively impact honeybees. In fact, I just wanted to mention, if people go to my Facebook page, the littlemountaintownbeekeeper.com, I'm going to have a series of classes on Saturday, June 11th, here in Salida, Colorado.
Okay.
And these 4 classes are Honeybees in the Earth, a beautiful ballet. The second class is A Dance Disrupted, What's Happening to the Bees.
And now, back to Making a Way with Bargain Queen, Sheryl Renee.
And now back. Yeah, we're back. Okay, continue, Scott.
Okay. I was just going to mention that we, as individuals, there's a lot we can do to really impact honeybees in a positive way, and therefore impact the earth, and therefore impact the health of human beings. And I am actually doing 4 classes here in Salida, Colorado on Saturday, June 11th, about what's happening with bees and what individuals can do to help and what beekeeping is all about. And there are things that everyone can be doing to help bring the honeybee back to vitality and vibrancy.
Okay.
And I'm real excited about these classes that day. People can go to my website, littlemountaintownbeekeeper.com, and learn about the classes there.
Well, let me ask you, because this, we stream online, and a lot of our audience is global, international. Will you post anything like that on your website? Are you going to post any information? I'm sure you have a lot of information on there. I found a lot of information on your Facebook page.
Yes.
But as far as your classes.
I have another website that people could go to called sponsorahoneybeehive.org. And there's all kinds of information there, just like what we've been talking about.
Okay.
And ways for people to be involved without actually keeping bees themselves, without needing to come here to Salida, Colorado to participate with what I'm doing. They can participate at a distance from sponsorahoneybeehive.org.
Okay. I love
so that'll give people some resources, and a way to be involved, too.
Okay. I can't let you go without asking you 2 questions. Okay, number 1, so you don't worry about being stung, and how many times have you been stung?
Okay, first question. Of course I worry about being stung.
Yeah.
And I, take steps to minimize that. The answer to your second question is I've been stung more times than I can count.
Oh,
I couldn't
my
even
goodness.
tell you how many times I've been stung.
But it doesn't deter you, because you love those bees. But it doesn't deter you, huh?
You got it. You got it, Sheryl.
That's a true passionate man. And then finally, I was reading something about, in L.A., about the African bees that I guess just this past weekend, the African bees took over a neighborhood and were being very aggressive and all that kind of stuff. And I remember when that movie came out. I remember in the 70s when we were all, oh, my God, the African bees. Then they made a movie about it, and we were all terrified of these bees. What do you think about all that?
That's just something that needs to be watched. Beekeepers can mitigate that. We can yes, we can. We can absolutely control that as beekeepers. Now, in the wild, it just needs to be watched and mitigated by local authorities. So, but it's really, truly unrelated to beekeeping itself.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's still fascinating that a bee could fly across the oceans to get to another land,
Yes, I'm not sure what the story is there. I know that technically they're called Africanized bees, and where they're actually originating, like the ones in LA, I'm not sure. I'm not up on that.
Well, listen, once again, tell the listeners how now, because you do produce honey, don't you?
No, I don't.
You don't?
At least not at this point. That is not why I'm keeping bees. I'm doing research to improve their health.
But are they making honey, though? Are your bees making honey?
Oh, absolutely. Of course they are.
So what do you do
with it? But one of the things, I leave it for the bees. Bees make honey in order to survive the winter.
Oh,
and a healthy beehive, that's what they eat all winter. And see, here in Colorado at 7,000 feet, a healthy colony of bees needs 100 pounds of honey in their hive to survive the winter.
I need a ding ding. Hold on, I have to have a ding ding moment because you just taught me something that never occurred to me. Of course, they make the honey for themselves.
That's why they're doing it.
Oh
Absolutely.
my God! To survive the winter.
Exactly.
I think you know what. There are some of my listeners are probably going, "She's so." But are you kidding me? She didn't know that. But then there are other ones who are going, "My God, I didn't know that either."
Right. Right. And what we have to be careful of as beekeepers is not to remove so much honey, but then in order to keep the bees from starving, we have to feed them sugar water in the winter.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So
that is another practice. That's another practice that has been weakening bees.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. Of course, we're taking their food.
Yep. And feeding them sugar instead.
Oh, my goodness. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is well, thank you for enlightening me on that. Hey, listen, tell the listeners again how they can find you online.
Okay. I'll mention two websites. One is sponsoraHoneyBeehive.org. That'll redirect them to a Facebook page, but that's what it's supposed to do. And then LittleMountainTownBeekeeper.com. That also redirects them to a Facebook page, but that's what it's supposed to do. That's where they can learn about classes here. That's where they can learn how they could sponsor a honeybee hive from wherever they're located in the world and begin to learn about honeybees and everything that's going on with them and learn about my research and my passion for bees. Oh,
I love it. Well, Scott Saylor, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us so much great information. I learned some things, and I'm going to, I liked your page on Facebook, so I'm going to keep up with what's going on, and I wish you so much great success with your classes on June 11th.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
All right.
Okay.
My pleasure.
All right. And we'll talk to you later. And that was Scott Saylor, the president of the Central Colorado Beekeepers Association. Boy, you know what? Of course the bees are making honey for their own sales. We just like it. The bears like it, okay? Oh, my goodness, poor creatures. What don't we? Us humans, baby, what don't we take control of? We want it. But anyway, before we go on, I did want to read some of these benefits of honey. And again, we're talking pure honey. And Scott enlightened us that we want to get it before it's been processed, before it's been heated. But here it says that it was 50 benefits. You can use it as a shampoo, an antifreeze to lighten your hair, for hair growth stimulation, for conditioner, for dandruff, to remove hair. Of course, the Egyptians, that's how they started the whole thing of, they had to deal with lice, and so they were into hair removal, and they used honey for razor bumps, for fading scars. It says here you can rub honey on a scar twice weekly, and it will begin to fade the scar. I got to try that. Skin and lip scrub. Oh, my goodness. Wart removal. It took dark circles under your eyes. Of course, I had talked about that in my family. That's something that we have. But some of the medical benefits here, just reading off a few, for eczema, upset stomach, heartburn, bug bites, sleeping aid. People have problems sleeping. Try honey. That's so amazing. Burns. I had heard that before. Burns, that you could put it on your body for burns, and it will help the healing process. Rosacea for hangovers. Flushes parasites from the liver and colon. My gosh, we need to leave these bees alone and let them do what they do. And, of course, you can find the full list on our Pinterest page. And, hey, once again, we give you some great information here on Making a Way on KUHSdenver.com. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you enjoyed it. I'm so mad at myself. I forgot to click the button again to record my show. You know what? It should be automatic at this point. This is my 16th show. But unfortunately, I didn't realize until we were about 20 minutes in. So we missed. So no one, unless you were listening today, no one will ever hear how brilliant we were the first 20 minutes, Lisa. I was running my mouth the whole time anyway. Hello. But at any rate, we are listening. You are, not me. You are. Yes, we're together. KUHSdenver.com. And, again, Pinterest.com. We have over 135 pins on there of good news, of ways to help you start eating. Look at here. You know your body. Just take a minute. Look at your skin. Look at your think about what state your body is in. How easy is it to begin the process of healing your body by changing what you're putting in it? They used to say there's a commercial, you are what you eat. This is so true. And I'm not perfect. I am not perfect, honey. I found me some jalapeno cheese puffs, oven baked, real cheese, and I've given me the excuse to eat it, but golly, I eat better than I used to eat. All righty then.
Here's your BQ tip of the week.
That's my girl, Cindy. Yes, honey, I got a BQ tip of the week. All right, tip of the week. See, things are laid out in a way that maybe you've never noticed. But when you go into the grocery store, you will notice that all of the processed food is in the middle. If you stay on the outer side of the grocery store, you will stay near all of the healthier foods, the natural foods, but the processed boxed foods are all on the inside. So you want to make a lap around that supermarket. You want to stay on the outer edge the whole time. And my friend Lonnie Bird hit me to that about 7 years ago, and I was shocked because all these years of going into the grocery store, I had never made the connection. But the way it's laid out, that's it. The healthier foods, if you think about it, you go in, one side is the deli, one side is the bread, the other side is the vegetables, your fruits and vegetables over here. Then you go around, there's your meat, there's your dairy. You stay on the outer sides. Hey, that's my tip of the week. Stay on the outside in the grocery store because we want you to eat healthy. We want you to stay away from processed foods. It's not easy. Of course, they've added so many things to make the processed foods taste good, but those things, are causing our medical decline. And of course, with medical costs being so high, especially here in America, but around the world, I'm thinking everybody's, into this. And speaking of around the world, just want to say hello to our folks from Italy and Islamabad, with Littleton, Colorado. Hello, France. We've got Canada. We've got Turkey. Oh, my goodness. Thank you all. Durham, United Kingdom. Thank you all for tuning in to Bargain Queen. Hey, we hit some high numbers last week. I was very proud of what we did last week. But, we want you to eat great. Sugar's not good for you, but what's worse for you is artificial sugar, okay? If you're eating artificial sugar, I'm sorry. You can go online. I'm not going to even tell you all the stuff that it's causing. But, if you've got to use sugar, use real sugar, not refined sugar, and use it in a minimum. Okay, yeah, I think we got to a whole lot of things, didn't we, Henry? Yeah, Henry's in here right now filming for Facebook. Hey, my peeps. Okay, so as you know, I like to sing myself out of here, and I tried to find a song. I looked all through the internet to find the best song about food, and you know what? I couldn't come up with it. I had a hard time finding just a great song about the power of food. But then I thought about this song that was written by Marvin Gaye, recorded by him and also by my girl, Gladys Knight, and the Pips. This was called Heard It Through the Grapevine. Hey, grapevine is food, right? Grapevine is food. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sing out Heard It to the Grapevine. We want you to come back next Wednesday. We're going to be talking about thrifting, baby, bargain hunting. It's time for us to get back into it, okay? Ooh, I bet you're wondering how I do. Baby, 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 about your plans to make me blue. Ooh, yeah. With some other girl you knew before. Between the two of us, girls, you know I loved you more. It took me by surprise, I must say. But I found out yesterday. Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? How much longer would you be mine? Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? Hey, 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 just about to lose my mind. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna lose my mind behind these grapes, baby. Oh, the grapevine weeds. Oh, take a good look at these tears that I'm crying. 'Cause baby, baby, these tears I can't hold inside. Losing you, but in my life, you see, because you mean that much to me. You could have told me yourself that you love somebody else. Instead, I heard it through the grapevine. Not much longer would you be mine? Hey, don't you know that I heard it? Yes, I heard it. Yeah, just about to lose my mind. Oh, yes, woo, Gladys is kicking my butt. Hey, girl, should have warmed up a little bit before I tried to hang with Gladys Knight, honey. That's right. Oh, yeah, you listening to Making a Way? With Bargain Queen, Sheryl, Renee. Every Wednesday, y'all, I'm right here. Come on. They say believe of what you see. And none of what you hear. Baby, baby, I just can't help but be confused. If it's true, please, baby, oh, won't you tell me so now? Oh, do you plan to let me go? Or some other girl you love me for? Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? How much longer would you be mine? Hey, don't you know that I heard it? Yes, I heard it. Woo! All right, y'all. See you next week. Bye-bye.